and welcome to Recall French ER Verbs. This is number 102. We're going to use the memory palace at a university, à la université. Here we're going to look at the most common ER verbs in French and how you conjugate them, which means how you take the infinitive, which is the to something bit of the verb, and how you take that and use it for I, we, you, he, and they. We're also going to introduce it, so we can actually use this word to use. So I use it, we use it, very useful. And I'll give you 9 ER verbs. And these are the most common, very useful words, very well worth remembering all of them. So let's get right into it. So here we're at university, you're at university now, and this is your group of friends, and we're going to think of the traffic lights to help us remember how we conjugate ER verbs. And the word we're going to conjugate is the word to utilize, or to use, sorry, very similar in French. It's utiliser, utiliser. So think of to use, to utilize, utiliser, utiliser. And you'll notice that the first pronunciation is in green, and that represents A, utiliser. Now you want to say I use, j'utilise, j'utilise. We actually replace the ER at the end with an E, and that gives us the pronunciation utilise, and I is je, j'utilise. We can put it together, j'utilise. And in your group, you want to say, well, I use this, I use something, something, something. What do we use? Nous utilisons, nous utilisons. So the word for we is nous, and if you rearrange some of the letters in nous, you'll get on, O-N-S. So rearrange the N, the O, and the S from we, nous, for the ending. So you take the ER off utiliser and you add on ONS at the end, but it's pronounced on. Utilisons. Nous utilisons. We use. So here are the 3 sounds you'll hear, and we're going to use the traffic light to remind us what they are. So we start off at green, go to amber, finish at red at the top. Let's move on. So now a bit like we've got our group, but we see that there's another group over there, and we want to talk to them. So we're going to learn the 2 ways of saying you. One's informal to a singular person, tu utilises, tu utilises. You'll notice that it's amber because it's the same sound as j'utilise. The spelling has an extra S at the end, but we don't pronounce that. It's the same sound, tu utilises, tu utilises. So that's if the scrum halves are talking to each other. Now if you're talking to a group, say the referee is talking to one of the packs, he would address the group. Vous utilisez, and this is the same pronunciation as the infinitive, vous utilisez. Spell TZ at the end. Or if the scrum half was addressing the referee, he might use vous, you, as the use. So you use it for a teacher or someone in authority, or to a group. So there are 2 ways of saying you, tu and vous, and they have 2 pronunciations. Tu utilises, tu vous utilisez. So now we've got a series of groups. So you've got your group, there's another group, but there's lots of groups. So we want to know about he or they in the other groups. And this is where we come back up to amber, because it's the same pronunciation. So he uses, il utilise, il utilise. We came across he, il utilise. They use, il utilise, they use. The same pronunciation. It can be masculine or feminine, so it could be elle utilise or elle utilise. but it's the same pronunciation. So here's a summary of that, just to show you. So I want you to think of the traffic light system for ER verbs. Utiliser, je utilise, nous utilisons. Tu utilises, vous utilisez, il utilise, il utilise. Now, it's a good time to introduce that or them, as in it, for utilize, because you say I use it a lot. And the word for it is le or la, depending on whether it's masculine or feminine, and if it's lots of them, it's le. And in English we say I use it. And here you can see the pattern ABC. I use it. But the it in French comes before the verb. So you say je l'utilise, je l'utilise. Because utilise starts with a vowel, you don't say je le utilise, you put it together. Je l'utilise. So the pattern is ACB rather than ABC. Now if it's we use them, you can use the plural, and again it comes before the verb. So we use them is nous les utilisons. Nous les utilisons. And again, if the thing that you're talking about is feminine, you would use la, but that drops off with utilise. So you use it, tu l'utilises, tu l'utilises. Okay, so that's how you conjugate the ER verbs. Let's introduce you to 9 ER verbs. And we're at university. And at university, you have to work really hard. You have to travailler. You have to travail. So the word for work is to travailler. You have to work hard. You have to really travail, which means work hard in English. Travailler, travailler. Work hard, work. And you'll work in a library where there's a treasure trove of information. You'll find a treasure trove, a trove. So the word to find in French is trouver, trouver. You'll find a treasure trove of information in a library. And that will help you with your essay. So you have to try to write essays at university. And you'll do that by working hard and finding information in a university. But you have to try to write an essay. So the word to try is essayer, essayer. To try, essayer. Try to write an essay. Now you have professors at university, and they're very clever. And if you look at what they write on the board, they'll have a high regard of you. So to look is regarder, regarder. To look, regarder. Have a high regard of you if you look at what they're doing and trying to show you. Obviously, university professors think a lot. And they ponder things. They spend a lot of time pondering about the world. They're thinking about the world. So the verb to ponder, the verb to think is penser, which gives us our word ponder. Penser, penser. To think, penser. And finally, the verb to seem is sembler, which is very similar to the English. Sembler, seem. I like to think of there being a semblance of intelligence at people at university. They seem intelligent. There's a semblance of intelligence. Sembler. To seem. Sembler. It's not all about work, so you will want to get to know other people at university as well. And you'll want to call them. Appeler. Appeler. So you're appealing. Appealing, can I call you? Can I call you? And it's a bit of an appeal. Please, can I call you? Appeler. But once you're on the phone, you've got to be a bit more forceful about it, and you're going to ask her out on a date. But you're going to demand. You're going to demand to ask her on a date. Demander, demander. You're going to ask her on a date. Demander, to ask, demander. But you're going to give her a doner kebab. So to give is donner, to give, donner. Think of a doner kebab. She might not have been expecting that as your first date. To give, donner. So here are the 20 words we went through, if you want to take a screenshot of that to test yourself. And here are the words in French and their pronunciations. And notice the traffic light system again for ER verbs, the 3 different types of pronunciation for ER verbs. Please subscribe to the channel and take the test at the bottom of this video underneath. And thank you for watching.